Welcome this August 2024 to a lecture and workshop, End Times New Epoch, End Times New Epoch. And what I imagine is you sitting in a circle getting ready to listen to a story about the future of us. The image of us in that picture we see taken from outer space of us, all of us, planet Earth humanity, on a small blue ball of light against a vast darkness. Our focus this lecture, long-range forecast. I'll begin by offering some observations to support my thesis, End Times New Epoch. The second part of our time, I'll ask you to take part in a problem-solving exercise designed to help us think creatively as we imagine what that new epoch might be. The third part of our time, I will share a conversation that I facilitated between war and peace as doctor to planet Earth humanity. We'll close with an exercise designed to give us a touchstone about the work to be done to avoid the worst and have the best outcome. So let me begin with some observations about the state of humanity in 2024. Almost everyone I talk to, no matter where they are on the social, sexual, political, or legal, or religious spectrums that bind us, I hear one common refrain, a felt sense, gut sense, that we are living in the end of times, the end of something, and a lot of anxiety about what that end might be. What we know from history is that transitioning from one epoch or age to another is a challenging time. Our transition appears to be no exception to a rule of change. Sometimes things have to get really broken to drive home the solution to what ails us. And we all know that to some degree. Stephen Hawking, the greatest mathematician since Newton of our generation, recently deceased, but before he died, projected one possible very messy future for us. Based on the measures of planet Earth's climate health, as measured by the climate numbers the past 10,000 years, that's been the range that we have been living in, and projecting past 200 years, those numbers 200 years hence, long sentence here, assuming planet Earth humanity does not intervene to redress the imbalance, which is a possibility, we can act, or the planet automatically rebalances, which in some quarters they hope to happen, places the future on chance, to my mind. If something doesn't happen in one of those two domains, what is ahead for us is catastrophe by the numbers, by the greatest mathematician of our time. A future for those of us with money enough buying seats on rocket ships to escape our planet, not able to sustain us. Expatriating to the moon and Mars and beyond. Our time here on Earth no different than the dinosaurs. Planet Earth goes on. What is left of us is a lair in the clay. And the future of us launched off into the cosmos. By the numbers, this catastrophic future is not improbable. It's not just science fiction. And, other side to the story, Pope Francis observes, we are not in a changing epoch, a lot of change going on within an epoch, but rather a change of epochs. He prays, we will awaken to the opportunity for justice to reign on earth as God wills it. The fact of the matter is, we, planet Earth humanity, the lot of us, when enough of us on this planet vote for it, we can have it. in our global age. We have the tools. Like Kennedy, when he could promise in a decade humans on the moon because he had rockets and computers, and it was just a matter of crunching the numbers and money. We're in the same situation. We have the power. Noam Chomsky, the greatest intellect of our time and a national treasure, among other powerful authorities supporting what many of us feel in our guts, these are indeed end times. To remember, the future is not predetermined, but the die is cast. There is no turning back, no going home again, aka Tomov. So in 2024, the felt sense of human development is going backwards, not forwards. Some young people are so concerned about the future they are contemplating no children as one measure of the felt sense that this epoch ends badly. Capturing our collective fears for the future, people are flocking to take comfort in the plethora of end times cosmological stories to make sense of it all. I understand. And to be clear, I am a believer in the second coming of Jesus, and to be clearer, I do not believe the end times we live in are apocryphal in that sense, save, as the preachers remind us, our failure to live God's teachings of loving our neighbor on planet Earth as we should. And as they also remind us, God does not patronize us. He lets us suffer the consequences of our injustice, as the Psalms so remind us. In conclusion, having established a probable thesis that we live in end times, we, planet Earth humanity, the lot of us, have a problem. It looks like catastrophe ahead by the numbers. And to remember, none of us knows the future for certain, and maybe this new epoch is the second coming or something else. All I know is to discern carefully and pray I stay right with God. The big questions to answer are, what will the name of this new epoch be, and what role might I have, you have, we have in shaping what that might be? The second part of our time together is to help shed some light on the situation we're in. So I'm going to ask you to switch from being listener to doer. I will set the stage by offering a technique in problem solving used in boardrooms and classrooms across the planet, or some variation thereof. The technique involves you making an empty space, like a stage behind your mind. In my mind, it's about 3 inches square. A darkened space. Even as I'm saying this to you, close your eyes. Make that space. The rest of you off to the sides, quiet. The adults got some work to do here. And letting your breath be steady and even, just focus on that space. And see what jumps into that space when you hear the meme, law-based civilization. Law-based civilization. Hold on to what jumped into your stage. Grab an image if you can, or a couple, and note how you feel. Now, I ask you to set all that aside as we tackle the next part of our time together, and that's me being doctor to planet Earth humanity. My patients are many, but I brought into the consulting room Peace and War to have a session. And I'll facilitate that session by having you imagine, you open your eyes now, you're looking at the stage, 3 chairs, I'm in one, and in one chair, the empty chair is war. I project war into that chair. And each of us does that. What do we see when we see war? And in the other chair, we project peace. And I will facilitate a dialogue back and forth between these two entities. And I encourage you, as you're observing this dialogue, to imagine what you would say if you were in either chair, or what you would say if you were me, or what you would ask if you were me. And of course, we can have a dialogue about that at the end. Peace begins by asking War, what good are you? War, looking a little hurt, responds angrily, what a stupid question. It is my purpose to defend you against an enemy who first would starve you, then desecrate you, then exterminate you and your kin. Get real. When negotiations fail, I'm the default position. You call upon me in your war-based civilization. Give me a break. I've done my duty. Yeah, I'm war, I'm rape, I'm plunder, I'm tear. That's what I'm all about. That's why soldiers join up. Yeah. You humans have periodically put laws around me to keep me from being fully me. From Hammurabi to the Geneva Accords, and whether those rules apply on the battlefield is a matter of luck. Ask any soldier. And you think med is going to save you? You did it once, you'll do it again. I empathize, I understand. Your position trying to manage me and corral me, not easy. My coinage is blood, you see. The soul's need for blood. Cemeteries are filled with the blood sacrifice I demand as brave warriors do barbarous things in my name. Soul destroying, I love it. Hospitals and families on all sides filled with the lingering suffering of the wounded, the cost of war. And even so, I believe my record shows humanity is better off for my doing my duty, burying certain powers into the dustbins of history. It is my soul to fight evil with evil, to reign supreme. Beware. And beware the many violations of my nature, as my power to terrorize has been abused by the mighty and the powerful. Makes me more bloodthirsty, so war upon you. Peace responds, let us be clear. Humanity invented you to defend against an enemy who would starve me and my family. The right to bear arms is a human right and is an inherent right in a war-based civilization. Your power to gather enormous numbers of people to engage in the barbarity of genocidal killing makes you a god of human making. I apologize for the tone of my question that offended you, and we see the abuse of which you speak. We honor those times when you fought to kill people more evil than good. We believe we had no choice but to hire you to fight fire with fire. We honor the bloodshed on all sides on war, because it all goes to you. There is no side to you. Those sacrificed to you are one in spirit. It warms me so when old warriors get together and have a drink. And we wage peace for a time when blood sacrifice to you, more, is no longer needed. Our soul's need for blood sacrifice addressed in spiritual ways, a deep and important topic. War responds, you know me pretty well. Perhaps my response to you opening question defensive, but I feared you misunderstood me. My lust for blood sacrifice knows no bounds. Read your Bible, a great book. For that reason, your great books, I do read them. Prophesies the end of war, breaking the spear, burning the shield, and turning swords into plowshares. And all I know is that until you, planet Earth humanity, in clear majority, learn that lesson, I, war, am the default position. You're a slave to me. Peace, waging, peace, asks war. Is there no end to you? War replies, as long as I'm the default position, settling disputes, big and small, you are mine, a war-based civilization. War movies idolize me. Peace movies don't sell. As much as this might surprise you, I do see, given my capacity to utterly destroy humanity, to ash a problem, rather self-defeating. I see I may have outlived my usefulness. I become the enemy of the very thing I was made to defend. But I fear not for my existence, at least in 2024, as most people on planet Earth think me inevitable, which I'm not. I'm a choice. But it serves me well they think that way. I am a choice. How, you say, to bring me to heel? Good question. The answer is self-evident. Look outside your door. If you happen to live in a peaceful neighborhood, law, just laws, justly adjudicated, is the foundation of peace anywhere, locally or globally. Justice is just a matter of scale. As history shows, laws of war do not contain me, but laws of laws will if enforced. Humans have tried several times in history to outlaw me. As recently as 1928, made a law called the Kellogg-Briand Pact to outlaw me. How many of you, it's a bit of an aside, but how many of you are aware or know about the Kellogg-Briand Pact? My research shows that maybe less than 50% of Americans do. Not presuming that you do or don't, I think it's worth reviewing briefly what that pact is. So if I just scroll to the bottom here, which is part of, will be on the web for anybody who reads it. The Kellogg-Briand Pact, or Pact of Paris, officially the General Treaty for Renunciation of War as an Instrument of National Policy. I repeat, a General Treaty, the General Treaty for Renunciation of War as an Instrument of National Policy, is a 1928 international agreement on peace in which signatory states promise not to use war to resolve, quote, disputes or conflicts of whatever nature or whatever origin they may be, which may arise among them, end quote. The pact was signed by Germany, France, and the United States on 27 August 1928 and by most other states soon after. Sponsored by France and the United States, the pact is named after its authors, United States Secretary of State Frank B. Kellogg, I think of Kellogg cereal fame, and French Foreign Minister Aristide Briand. The pact was concluded outside the League of Nations, the first step in our global legal development, and remains in effect. Back then, from Main Street to Wall Street, there was great exuberance for this idea. World War I was the war to end all wars, and this was the law to make that official. To repeat, across the globe, from Main Street to, there's always detractors, but in the main, there was a great upsurge in support of this idea. But as history did tell, not the law to contain me. So I got to strut my stuff in World War II like never before. More killing than in any other war, and brutally so. Those who loved me loved it. I'm not done. Einstein, when asked what World War III would look like, said he could not picture it except World War IV would be fought with sticks and stones. In 2024, looking, he might be right, as humanity is not yet ready to give up, and indeed it's rearming. Yay, me. Hear me. Hear me clear. It is you, planet Earth humanity, with the power of the vote to make me yield to a law-based civilization. Let me repeat. It is you, planet Earth humanity, with the power of the vote to make me yield to a law-based civilization. There is a way I want to say to you, if you want to be free of me, I am not the problem. Look within. And why do you resist? And then I conclude the dialogue between peace and war. And I conclude the lecture by saying, as peace warrior, waging peace, I'm calling out to the four corners planet Earth for a law-based civilization. If we can imagine it, we can build it. Like Kennedy. He had rockets and computers. He knew that it was just a matter of crunching the numbers and money, because we can imagine it. We can actually imagine it happening. And we did. We're no different. If we can imagine a law-based civilization, we can build it. And that way together, a new epoch becomes an age of peace. Now for your closing exercise, for those of you online reading this, in person, of course, we spent some time talking about what got stirred during the dialogue and what images came up. But in online reader, I would encourage you to go to the comments section, add what got stirred for you by way of introducing yourself to this topic of a law-based civilization. It is, I believe, the only solution if we really want peace on earth. It's obvious. And we live in a time when we can make it happen. What we have to find, of course, is the money to convince people to vote for it. It's a matter of convincing people of an idea that they think right now wouldn't work, or they haven't quite got their minds around yet. But it can be done, because when you think about it, it is the only answer to what ails us. God bless.